All right. Welcome back to Amateur Hour yet again. Here in quarantine, we are unable to go into the building to record, so we are at home doing a Zoom call.
We're doing what
So,
we can to get the show out to you guys.
yep. So this is most likely what will be happening until second week of January, unless something else changes. Um, there is a YouTube channel set up that will have our shows as well and additional content. That will be uh, that stuff will be figured out very shortly by next show, hopefully. And well, in sports news, like the show is, um, not too much happening. Really across the board with all sports, it's been pretty quiet as of late. Biggest news was pretty recent. Well, maybe not the biggest news, but something at least. Rudy Gobert signed a 5-year, $205 million deal. Well, as an extension, that makes him as the third highest paid player in the league, I believe. $41 million annual value. So he was supposedly offered 228 million, but turned it down to help the team.
Well, it's not really helping the team when you're taking that much money. Uh, to start off, I just want to say one thing. What are the Utah Jazz owners thinking? What are they doing? You sign him 205, $205 million. 205. I don't even think I know 205 people. $205 million for 5 years. That is a terrible signing. You're just giving up that much money for Rudy Gobert, who can't do much offensively. He may be a good defensive player, but he's no Marcus Smart. I take Marcus Smart over Rudy Gobert any day of the week. Like, I take Marcus Smart with half a leg over Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert, he's one of the most overrated defensive players. He should not have gotten the Defensive Player of the Year award. He clearly is highly overrated by many basketball analytics, uh, who I don't know why they just think Rudy Gobert is like is all that, but he's not. If you look at it, his offense is it's streaky. He can't put up big numbers. He'll give you a 15 points in a good game, 15 for a good game, but he struggles to put up anything consistently on offense. He's not a paint presence. Like, I just don't know what they're thinking.
Yeah, I do think there's generally a problem with advanced statistics in pretty much all sports, and that's really the main contributor to why you can make the argument for him being the defensive player of the year, because he does have good, like, advanced analytics and whatnot, but from watching him play, yeah, I don't see him as the best defensive player in the league, really. Probably,
I'm not
he's
saying
good, but
I'm not saying that he's a terrible defender. He's a great defender, but the thing is, you you don't pay a great defender 205 mil. Like, as good as they are, I would not give Marcus Smart that money. Like, I would not give someone who just solely defends that much money, right? If I was to give someone $205 million, I would want them to both be able to shoot and play defense. I need to see offense and defense. Basketball is not just about defense, it's about both. And until Rudy Gobert is able to do that, I don't see this contract ever being worth it.
yeah, no, it's definitely an overpayment. I know they probably didn't want. I really just would assume, him hitting not or him not hitting free agency. Uh, but I mean, you have plenty of time to, find a better deal than this because it's really not a great deal. He is a very good defender, but that, like as you said, that much money is for your star player, like your two-way guy or James Harden. but most that's the type of money you give to a franchise player. Someone that's gonna lead your franchise like no matter what, and that's really not Rudy Gobert. He might lead you in COVID tests, but I like he'll lead you defensively, but that's just definitely an overpayment by a good margin.
I mean, he did shut down the league, so that's pretty good defense. But just to put this contract in perspective, Anthony Davis, Anthony Davis gets paid less than this. You have a championship type player, a franchise type player that gets paid less than this. That is just. I thought Gordon Hayward's agent was good, but man, Rudy Gobert's this man's a genius. He just single-handedly. I don't know what he did. He must have the owners, the GMs of the Utah Jazz must have owed him a favor or something, but $205 million. Wow, bro. Anything's possible.
Yeah, no, he's definitely Gobert's agent's definitely pushing he's fighting for that spot with Hayward's agent for biggest thief in the league, because they're both stealing from their teams.
All right. Well, Rudy Gobert is not the only one that got a contract extension. Kyle Kuzma also got one, $40 million for 3 years. Now, in my eyes, this is much more fitting. Kyle Kuzma, although he had a subpar year last year, this money I would say, is definitely warranted for him.
Yeah, that's a very good deal, I'd say. Not a whole lot really. I mean, yes, it is, but not to an extreme. He's a pretty good player, like maybe not a star, but pretty reliable. Not many real problems with the contract. I see it as a low risk, high reward contract. Pretty safe one. Both sides. Just overall, pretty good, I'd say. You have anything to add on that?
You said exactly what I was thinking. Now, although we might be a bit late to this, LiAngelo Ball, he was signed by the Pistons, and then, but he didn't even get to touch the court, and he got dropped. That is just.
That's a red flag. That is a red flag across the board.
Could you explain why it's a red flag? Or what your thought process is?
My thought process is, if without playing a game, you cut someone, that means there's something else there. It's not just the play, because obviously, well, I mean, yeah, it can't just be about the play. So whether this is interference from LeVar or just a personal thing, I would expect, or it seems most likely that there's some sort of attitude problem, at least in that locker room. But what were you thinking about it?
Well, what I think is they never wanted to play LiAngelo. I think they just wanted to sign him for the title, they wanted the fame, they wanted the glory, they wanted to be the team that gave LiAngelo Ball a chance, but that chance was false hope. They just blindly spread out that false hope to LiAngelo and all NBA fans that support him, and just crushed our hope like that. That's cold-blooded.
Yeah, I do think it's possible, but I don't really see that as likely as maybe some issues with management or teammates, whatnot, just because I understand where you're coming from saying that, but I just don't really that's a pretty I don't know, just I don't really. I mean, yeah, I just don't see it as the most likely reason. I mean, it's possible, very well could be. Trying to get more press out there for your team, your organization, whatnot. But that doesn't really help. You get press, but it's not good press at all. You know, I just, it's not like how Shaq would, when he played. It's not like how he would, take any press because he thrived off those storylines. It's not the same. It's just bad press in general. If you just wanted him just to sign him, say we signed LiAngelo Ball and do nothing with it, that no one, not even your own fans, are probably, yeah, no one's really gonna take that very well. I wouldn't think.
Oh, what you said, I now that you said it, I could see that as being very possible as LeVar Ball has provided a huge controversy off the court. We've seen this with Lonzo Ball and the Lakers. It's nothing new, but I just I don't know. I just think it's the Detroit Pistons messed up. If you're gonna sign him, at least let him play. He didn't even get to touch the court. That's just terrible. I want
Yeah,
to.
I there's definitely more to this than what's come out so far. There's got to be something else than just them thinking it's not going to work out or whatever. So, I mean, we'll see.
Whatever the situation is, I hope LiAngelo gets another chance.
Yeah, especially if it's interference from LeVar again. Like, I mean, everyone that at least has like pretty much anyone that at least knows a little bit about basketball these last 5 years has heard of LeVar Ball and the balls, and so I do think he, unless he's gonna 1v1 Michael Jordan, he should just stop. And now, so we finished basketball news and football news. The Patriots are no longer in a position to make the playoffs, like I said.
This hurts, especially for us Patriots fans. I'm sure all other football fans are rejoicing over this moment, but it hurts, man. It's the first time I believe that the Patriots haven't made the playoffs since 2008. It's the end of an era, but like I said, it's only a transition year, and Patriots will be they will be back, and there will be a new dynasty.
Yeah, I think we'd be back in pretty short amount of time. We have all the tools, to get there probably sooner than later. But yeah, we might miss it, another maybe two more times, whatnot, these next few years. But I wouldn't worry too much just because of how much we got out of the Patriots for so long. That's like you can argue if they're like different dynasties, the first three wins and then what comes after or whatnot. But it's all the same. It's the Belichick Brady, um, well, the uh, anti-league dynasty that the dynasty that everyone hates unless you are a Patriots fan.
They hate us because they ain't us. They
Yep.
hate to see greatness. Now, with us missing the playoffs, what moves do you think the Patriots should make?
Well, I do think we should keep Cam. I do. I've stated before, there were plenty of times where he definitely there were times where I definitely just shook my head, but I think just something that will help him was, well, we all know he's a dual threat quarterback. He led in rushing touchdowns, and but getting that wide receiver help, that'll definitely. I feel like that would help us consistently with his air game. But I would say keep him unless there's some other option, that's like a great option that, oh yeah, we'd rather take them than Cam because Cam actually fit pretty well, I thought, with Belichick's system. Uh, McDaniels is he's spotty, but I think it's just like a down year pretty much for everyone. So I'm not too worried. The big thing though, I think, is we should keep Cam. I'm saying like I'm going 85 or yeah, like 80 to 85%. Is I'm leaning towards sign him, but if there was a little bit like I would prefer for us to sign him, but if we didn't and we got another viable option to replace him, it wouldn't be the worst. But I mean, we'll have to see what Belichick thinks. If I was Belichick, from not if I was, but from what I've seen of Belichick and Cam, how they view it, it seems like they get along pretty well. I don't really think there's too many issues like Antonio Brown, or I mean, I just I'm not really sure because it's more just this whole COVID situation kind of just messed up pretty much every team's, what they're going to do in every sport. So I don't think
Of
we can
course,
really make a decision.
and Cam himself was affected, and it clearly showed. But I myself would actually have to. I think I might have changed my opinion seeing the Patriots lost to the Dolphins. At first, I was a huge defender of Cam, as, like I said, I mean, like you said, the receivers aren't like they're not there yet. But with the few latest few games, I've seen the receivers. They're starting to show promise, and Cam just hasn't been delivering. Of course, he provides a dual threat, but you have to look at the situation. He's not winning games, right? You could argue that it's because it's not just because his fault. It's also the defense's fault. Now
Yeah,
that's
but
very true, as the defense, is not that good.
yeah, the
Uh,
defense is streaky at times, but also not having Damian Harris this past week definitely, he really is our best player offensively, I think. Just because Cam was so inconsistent. There were times where, yeah, Cam was our best, player offensively, but just in general, I'd give the best offensive player to Damian Harris.
I would have to agree with that for now, but like you said, Cam's not consistent. That's the thing. You can't win a Super Bowl with someone who's this streaky. Cam, he goes from one amazing game to another game just has you thinking and scratching your head. What is he doing? Now, if there's no other viable option for quarterback, I wouldn't be severely opposed to it. As Cam, he's not terrible. But if Bill Belichick can somehow pull off another miracle, I would not. I would be fine with him going with another quarterback.
Yeah, I just feel like with Belichick and the systems he likes to run, it's if there's someone that fits in Belichick's system, they usually fit great. But the more often than not, I feel like a lot of players just don't fit very well. So we could, without Cam, we may be in like we get a different replacement. We could be in for a worse season, or we could be in for a great season. I feel like it's just very unpredictable. Like, okay, Belichick, I'd say he is the greatest coach in NFL history, uh, just because of how how he was able to keep that same dynasty together for so long.
I would say
So
the same.
yeah, so I mean, I definitely trust him. I think he definitely knows what he's doing. It's just we have seen that. I mean, players don't always fit, but when they do fit, it tends to work out pretty well. So I just think it's just unpredictable, really.
Whatever you might think about Cam, I think we can agree on one thing. Our receiving core, it still needs some work. Although it has gotten better, and N'Keal Harry and Jacoby Myers, they've shown flashes of greatness. They're still missing a solid, reliable piece. Like, they're missing their Edelman. Now, of course, Edelman might come back, but he's been plagued with injuries. He's getting older now, so you don't know if he's going to provide the same offensive threat and the same reliability that he once had.
Yeah, I do think that main wide receiver is definitely our biggest worry, like as of now, of what we should be looking for. Uh, I just feel like we can't keep drafting wide receivers because if we do that, we're just gonna have a bunch of mediocre wide receivers. Like I'd rather have a great option at a different position than a bunch of mediocre wide receivers because that piece is more valuable. Like if we want to get a number one wide receiver, like we have a let's say we have a like a number one linebacker, like someone that we're gonna have to replace Hightower. Would you rather keep that replacement at linebacker or trade it and get a reliable wide receiver?
Well, it depends how reliable. What if we could trade it for a player like Odell Beckham Jr. or I don't know. But it just depends how good of a receiver we can get. Now, what I think the Pats should do is they should they shouldn't, like you said, they shouldn't draft a good wide receiver as well. They shouldn't try to draft a good wide receiver as Bill Belichick, not the greatest drafter. He may have drafted Tom Brady, but when it comes to wide receivers, so far he hasn't proven us. He hasn't proven himself yet. Now, what I think is the Pats, they should focus on drafting for their defense and then trade away Stephon Gilmore for a reliable wide receiver.
I'm gonna have to disagree. I think Gilmore was our best piece defensively. I think he's really that. He's kind of like the Ty Law, that one big defensive piece to build around. Both cornerbacks, both 24, and they both play for the Patriots. Um, when I would watch, there were old DVDs that I have of the Patriots, their championship years. It's all pretty much defensively. It's like half of it. I mean, more than half of it's just Ty Law because of how good he was, and I think Gilmore will be that player for the Patriots. But I don't. So, well, yeah, because of that, I don't see trading him as our best option, even if we do get a better piece, as a wide receiver or whatnot.
Well, of course, the Pats could build around a solid defensive player like you said, but I don't think it's Stephon Gilmore. I think that player is J.C. Jackson. Although he's just started to shine, you've seen what he's done. I'm pretty sure he's second in the league for picks, and he's just proven to be just as reliable as Stephon Gilmore. So I think if we're trading anyone, it should be Stephon Gilmore. We could get a really reliable wide receiver that could propel the Patriots offense. We wouldn't really be losing much as we still, like we said, we'll have a cornerstone to build around on defense.
Yeah, but I do think that Gilmore is the better piece to have. He may not have the same upside, but just overall, I think I'd say we keep Gilmore. I know you're going to disagree with that, but
Yeah, so pretty much we've come to what we're not gonna. I can't speak right now. Uh, what I'm trying to say is, I actually don't know. The Patriots, their defense, the cornerback wise, is
we need help
it's really
everywhere.
fun. Yeah,
Except
Patriots.
for except for cornerback, we pretty much need help everywhere. So it's going to be I would expect it to be a pretty eventful offseason.
Patriots, they have huge holes, mainly on offense and the run defense. Their run defense gets
Yeah.
absolutely exposed every week. It's clear.
Yeah,
We
I
saw
with
the
without Hightower, and if Hightower doesn't come back, it's just gonna our problems are gonna, just they're gonna stay the same. So we do there were I mean the defense at times were, yeah, they're solid, very good, but just there were also times, like it's just I mean, we've
run
already
defense is just awful. Like I don't want to be dramatic, but they got absolutely destroyed by the Rams.
yeah,
They let their
that
running
was
back
that was
just
terrible.
he looked like Derrick Henry against us. He just ran wherever he wanted to. He just implied his will, and no one could stop him.
Yeah, our run defense is probably the biggest hole because we do have wide receiver, those prospects, but the young guys that probably will develop at least pretty good. But our run defense, up the middle, that's probably our biggest hole, I'd say.
Yeah, the Patriots, this year was just like we said, it's just a transition year. There's huge holes that need to be patched out. Now, as a Patriots fan watching this season, it's humbled us. It's given us the taste of reality.
But
And I'm
has
pretty
it?
sure. Yeah, I mean, his first time missing the playoffs since so long, since '08. It's pretty hurtful considering we came from greatness. Now, this season, I know I can say this for myself, and I'm pretty sure I can say this for many other Patriots fans. It's making me, this season has made me a special teams fanatic. I can now say with 100% confidence that I appreciate the Patriots special teams. Now,
Matthew Slater.
of
I've
course,
I I've always liked Matthew Slater, and I mean this season, he for what he does, he was incredible. I mean, he's a very fun player to watch. Anytime on a punt return to kick return, it's gonna be fun.
that the Pats special team, they just clearly outshine every other team. And that's the one thing we can rely upon and the one thing we can be proud about this season.
Yeah, and well, things that let's take a turn to a slightly less fun place than going over Matthew Slater and how amazing he is. Cincinnati in the NCAA, for football at least, were absolutely just robbed. I mean, the national championship rankings came out, and going into it, I said, or at least, I thought it was going to be. I know we didn't go over it in the show, but personally, I expected Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, and Cincinnati coming in at 4. Well, I guess that's not the way the committee saw it, and Notre Dame comes in at 4, and Cincinnati falls to 8. So they don't even get to play in the 5-6 game. They fall behind Florida. It's going into it. I mean, I understand. Yeah, Notre Dame. It's like a bigger market, and that's really the only reason why. Because you want a bigger pull in Notre Dame or Texas A&M, but the story of Cincinnati, they were able to go undefeated. How like they were just really good. They were great, and them getting just shunned by the committee. Just no, we don't want you. You're not good enough. You're not at our level. The just the bourgeoisie of these. It's I know it happened. It happened yesterday, and I'm still not over it. Uh, I I I don't even know, man. It's just they got
Straight
robbed.
robbed.
Yeah. But Alabama coming in at 1. Everyone expected Bama to be there, I think. Clemson coming in at 2. It was pretty much, I think, the majority of people expected that. I did too. I'm a big fan of Clemson. I have been for a while. Then Ohio State comes in at 3. Yeah, it was going to be Clemson or Ohio State at 2, I'd expect, which is what happened. And as we said, Notre Dame comes in at 4, which is just stupid. I don't get how you do that. And Texas A&M at 5. I'd say Texas A&M would come over Notre Dame, but I mean, I'm clearly not as intelligent as the people on the committee. Intelligent. And then Oklahoma comes in at 6. Pretty much when they got to that part, it was over for me. It was all over emotionally, mentally. Just the stability I had going in was just blown off. It was all over once they got to that, so I didn't even care. Florida comes in 7. I don't care. Cincinnati at 8. It's stupid. They got robbed.
Uh, that's pretty much it for college football and football in general. Now, to move on to a better note, the NHL, their season, uh, they're deciding to have a 56 game season, which will start January 30th. What do you think about this?
The pardon, sorry, what? You
What do you
clip
think
I
about the
clipped it.
NHL's 56 game season?
Yeah, I'm pretty pretty happy about that. I'm a big hockey fan. That's my favorite sport, and they said there was possibility of it being 56 or yes 56 or 48. Originally, it was supposed to be January 1st, and then maybe they said maybe February, but settling on January 13th is, I mean, there were like, people would go back and forth about, no one really knew because nothing was set in stone, but and that's a good date to settle, right in the middle. You get in enough games. It's going to be, the most important part is it's going to be all interdivisional, or sorry, intra-divisional. So there's going to be, the divisions are all pretty much, they're, it's all changed up. There's going to be a Canadian division because the border isn't open, and even the American teams, the divisions got all changed up just because of the movement, and whatnot. Bruins, we kind of, it sort of sucks how we got placed in the you know in the, I mean, I'd say it's the best division. I think it is, but I'm not too worried. There are four teams from each division make the playoffs, and there's a playing round to see who advances to the full playoffs, similar to how it was this past season. I think the Bruins, there's really no way we fall out of the top four, I don't think, unless everyone regresses. But I mean, no one on the Bruins really had a season that they can't replicate. I mean, Pasta hitting, all 48 goals in 70 games or whatever, that may, you know, maybe doesn't get that high again, but still, he's still a great player. He's one of the best wingers in the league. So I'm not worried really at all. I do think if we're gonna want to win, we got to win like this year pretty much. But the window, it's starting to close on us. So I mean, I'm just happy that hockey's coming back. World Juniors, the prospect championship playoff thing, that happens the 25th. Well, 23rd, the round robin sort of thing starts, but that's always fun to watch. So I'm just happy that sports are, every league's pushing to come back. There's not going to be anything. There's no asterisks on the championships. Like I remember after everyone started quarantine last year, or I guess it was this year, will be last year, but people were saying that the champions were going to have asterisks because
On
it's
the
not a,
Disneyland,
yeah, it's not a real championship. But I I I'm pretty much just, I'm pretty pleased with every league. I mean, the NFL kind of, they struggled at times, but I think it's all going pretty well.
yeah, I would say the same as it's great that the NHL can still be able to play that many games, considering that it's a inside sport. But I heard some teams like the Bruins, they're
Playing
proposing to have
outside, yeah.
outside stadium. I think that that'd be sick. You could
If
have
they, yeah, if they have outside games, I very much would like to go to it. The NHL has been, I think it was 2008, if I'm not mistaken, was the first outdoor game. It was the first Winter Classic, Buffalo, Pittsburgh, and it's been a tradition yearly. Now they have Stadium Series as well. A lot of outdoor games. It's a big draw. Everyone likes to watch it. You get all new jerseys, and you get to play outside in front of the stands, and it's real fun to watch. And I mean, like everyone. I don't really think anyone really dislikes it. It's something new for everyone. Even if you don't watch hockey, it's still fun to see, a game that's traditionally inside. You see it outdoors, and it's even better when it starts snowing, like what happened in the first one, which is, there was a documentary, mini documentary made by the NHL, the league. They did one on the first ever Winter Classic, the first ever outdoors game. And partway through the game, the snow started coming in sideways. So they had the goalies mic'd up, and the goalies were talking about how at one end of the ice, they couldn't see anything. You know, it was pretty much just shapes. They were like just hoping, you know, they're hoping that that thing that they're looking at is the puck. You know, it's very entertaining. And
It provides
if
a
that
whole new
happens,
it
yeah,
provides a whole new aspect that for it provides new aspects for entertainment, and it's an absolute win. With an outside stadium, you'll have snow games like the NFL has had. I remember snow games; they were always my favorite. You would always expect there to be, although some people might be against the idea of having luck decide the game. I think a slight aspect of luck wouldn't be too bad. Is you'll see miracles happen. Everybody loves seeing a miracle.
yeah. Well, that pretty much wraps it up. I believe we may have gone a little longer than usual. You know, we don't have a time limit, but
A
we're
little
gonna
Christmas
try to,
specialty.
yeah, we're gonna try to keep them around, you know, around 30 minutes like usual. We'll probably try to get this Zoom next week as well. The YouTube setup, you know, the YouTube page will most likely be set up very shortly. It would be ARHS or well, if you want to listen to the radio when we come back, it's arhsradio.com. And the YouTube channel is Amateur Hour. Set up pretty recently. You should be able to find it. It's the only Algonquin logo and clock. You know, I mean, you'll see. You'll be able to tell. So that'll be set up, and yeah, this will probably be thing that will we probably hope to at least get additional content out there as well. You know, along with the radio show if we can. You know, like mini videos if like something real big happens. You know, like just as extra stuff if pretty much nothing's really set in stone. Another thing we could do is for these Zoom calls, we could have call-ins on Zoom. If you want to call in, just reach out. If you listen to the show, you should be able to. If you want to like email us, you can go to ARHS amateurhour@gmail.com. All one word. We set up the email for it, for the YouTube page. We set that all up. You want to get in contact with us, ARHS amateurhour@gmail.com. You want to do a call-in. If you don't have either of our numbers, you go to that. If you do, let us know, and we'll see if we can set something up.
Just stay tuned in, as we'll be pushing out content to the best of our ability, even with the unfortunate circumstances. Look out for many new ideas that we have. We might move this to Spotify. That could be an option. We'll definitely be on the lookout for call-ins, as Nolan said. And our limitless is upless. Wait, that made no sense. Our upside is limitless.
There you go.
Again, this is amateur hour, not professional hour.
All right. Thank you for tuning in.